Sup nerds, I'm Aaron.
I'm Wes.
We're Neverboard Gaming, and today we're taking a look at the Sagrada 5 and 6 player expansion, which makes this game go up to 5 and 6 players.
So this expansion does do a lot more than just add the 5 to 6 player element, because to be perfectly honest, when I first heard it's a 5 to 6 player expansion, I was pretty lukewarm about it because I rarely get that high in my player counts. And if we have that many players, I don't know if this is the game I'm necessarily going to pick. Now, it's a great game, and I think it'd be a great game to play with 6 players if they're all up for it. But I think the most redeeming thing for this expansion, and why I think that every single person who has this game needs to buy this, is everything else that it adds.
Mm-hmm. The things they did to this game to speed it up so that it could support 5 and 6 players and not go on forever is what makes it even great at a 2-player count or a 3-player count. Is you have a personal dice draft where you're going to roll 2 of each color and place them on your board so that the entire game you're looking at these dice and trying to figure out where to place them because nobody else can take them from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you start the game knowing, okay, these dice are going to be placed out here, so you can, round 1, you can say, okay, half my board is already filled up here in my mind, so everything I draft now has to accommodate that. So I can't draft this, I can put this here. No, because this dice is already going to go there.
I mean, you're not completely locked in.
Yeah.
But, you can flex around and stuff. Depending on what window template you chose, which this also comes with 6 new window templates, and they're double-sided, so it's 12 new windows you could build, and it comes with the new goals, which I think are actually my favorite goals, that, the personal goals that you can get. They have a shaded area, and every dice that you place in that shaded area, you count the pip value on it. Mm-hmm. So compared to the ones in the base game, I really, really like these.
They get really interesting, and that's the biggest thing with having everything locked in and knowing where it goes before the game starts can change that. You can say, okay, well, this purple 4 is going to go here. And then later on, you get a purple 6, and you're like, oh, if I can swap that purple 6 out for the purple 4, I can get more points at the end of the game, as long as you can find a new place for that purple 4 to go. Because I would always get tricked up by that, by oh, I can get more points this way, or I can put this here, and it's perfect. And then I go, oh, right, but I still have this dice that has to go somewhere, and maybe I don't get to place it, or I get to place it somewhere that's not as beneficial for me. Have a plan for where those dice are going to go, and then every turn, remember, all right, every single dice, this is where it's going to go on the board, and this is where I can place things around it.
Yeah, and in each round, you're going to be placing one of them from your personal supply, so you're going to be constantly reminded. You're constantly looking at them, placing one down into your window. I think it does exactly what it needs to do for this game. You don't always have to play with it, but it definitely speeds up the game because you're taking away half of the drafting. And they, added this little dice tray to this expansion too, so that you can roll the dice into there and then draft your die and then be like, here you go. You get these dice.
I will say, I was so oh, there's a dice tray. Cool. Because I'm not someone who typically plays with dice trays. I don't know. I don't like feeling confined to this little box. However, especially I can imagine in a 6-player game, the ability to sit here with this here and look at it and then pass this on is so helpful, because you're not hey, what's that dice over there? And it's easy to move the dice across the table without accidentally shifting them. So I was really surprised at how much I appreciated that tray being in the game. The other way this game speeds up the draft, especially at a higher player count, is because I can draft, okay, I'm going to take this green 6. And as soon as I say this is definitely what I'm taking, I can pass this tray to Aaron, even though I haven't actually placed it on my board yet. I can't swap it out, but I can take that and the die from my personal pool and figure out where exactly they're going, while the rest of them are still drafting their dice, because I'm not waiting to see what they draft to know what's coming back to me, or they're not all right, well, you need to place that before I draft because what I take could affect where you put that. So that also helps that we can all be doing things simultaneously. You do get 2 extra tools in this game. So you get the strip cutter, which is after you draft the dice, you can swap it with a die from your private pool, which is okay, I guess. I mean, I guess if like you wanna, I definitely want this die, but I want to put it in that corner, and I can't place anything in that corner yet.
You kinda, like delay it.
Yeah, there are ways it can be useful, but you kind of have to have that direct situation.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the lead cane nippers, which lets you re-roll 2 dice in your private pool. Which anytime you're re-rolling dice, it's always like, I hope it's better than what I had, because there's so many times where I had things to re-roll dice and then it made it worse. But sometimes you're like, well, I can't use it anyway, so
might as well re-roll it.
Yeah.
That's a really good one for this, because it's 2 dice from your personal supply. Like, I mean, you're not messing with anyone else. Like, in the base game, there was one that allowed you to re-roll a die. I don't remember exactly how it was worded, but it lets you re-roll die, but you could re-roll them and then be like, no, I'm not going to take that, and take something else, and you're just like screwing everyone else over. Mm-hmm. This is your own pool. It's not going to mess with anyone. You're just messing with yourself.
The expansion's like half and half. Like, you can use it or not use it. So like the extra windows, obviously just like templates, like shuffle those in. Don't even worry about what's expansion and what's not, because there's nothing about those that's like special for the expansion. It's just more variability, more variety. And then the private objectives, again, there's no reason not to just shuffle those in every time, unless you just don't like them for some reason, and then you do you. But no, I would never take those out.
Yeah, I almost prefer just playing with the area ones. And
just those?
Yeah, just like, okay, everybody has a certain area instead of a certain color. I mean, obviously you can mix them together, and some people are going to be collecting colors, some people are going to be collecting just high numbers and placing them in the certain slots.
Mm-hmm.
And then that makes it even more, a better private objective.
And then the other aspect of it with the new tools and these little discs that give you the private pool, obviously that's mix in or don't mix it in, depending on your game. And there's no reason why you're like, well, once you have it, this is how you play the game. It's really easy just to take these out. Like, it's literally as easy as just like, don't hand these out and make sure these 2 tools aren't in there. And then you're back to the base game rules. Unless somebody requests it, I don't see myself playing without these. I enjoyed these so much, and like it sped the game up, and it made it more efficient, and it made it more thinky and less luck. Obviously, it's still tons of luck because of what you rolled and actually what lands in here, but you can have such a plan going into the game that it makes it a deeper game, in my opinion, and a little bit less, maybe not like less intro-y, but it gives you the opportunity to plan more.
I think that everything that they provided here is definitely like, put it in the game, leave it in the game, play it that way. It plays extremely quick at 2-player count now, because it's just going back and forth, and you've already got half your dice here. But it keeps it at a manageable time if you were to play with 5 or 6 players. So if you already have Sagrada, you definitely need to pick this up. If you don't have Sagrada and you've watched all the way through this, you need to get Sagrada now, and also get this just because you need to complete the package.
If you don't have the base game for it, we do have an Our Thoughts video for just the base game. We'll have a card popping up. You can click and watch that too. But I definitely recommend that you pick up this game. I think it should be a staple in every serious gaming collection. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to get this expansion. It's a great game.
More cards, more things.
More
get it.
Things.
We'll have a link in the description box down below. Click on it and get yourself a copy today.
And whether or not you listened to us and got a copy of it, which you really should have, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.
One thing we didn't mention is it gives you more dice, which you need for playing with more players, because it's the exact amount of dice that you need. But that's obvious, right?